Live from the Purple Cow Branding Studio.
Welcome to Network Today. I'm Sheryl Powers.
I'm Rob Bliss.
And we're here to take you from meeting people to
making money.
The really important part we're all trying to get to. And what we're here to do is shorten that relationship game so that you can get to the money faster.
And that's the whole purpose of why we're networking. We got to make money, but there are some other aspects that we've gone through in our last episodes and so on. We've got to build relationships, make new connections, all that kind of good stuff. But bottom line is we got to make money.
Make money. Well, and it's funny that you started talking about all the stuff that's swimming around in a networking world, right? We've got all these things that are just swimming around. And today's episode is about taking those things that are swimming around and begin to categorize them, isolate them, streamline them so that we're more efficient.
Oh, no, you're not talking about the dreaded CRM, are you, Sheryl?
Yes,
oh my
CRM.
Gosh.
I know.
Get me out of here.
That's right. That's right. Well, let's begin with the definition because I had no idea what a CRM was. Like everybody kept throwing it out there and I'm like, I don't know what a CRM is. I mean, years ago, right? But I didn't know what it was. Everybody else seemed to be in the know. So if you are now like I was then, let me share with you what CRM stands for because I still have to always look it up. So it's customer relationship management.
Mm-hmm.
See, I always thought it was a client retention management.
Oh, okay.
But I also think it could stand for I can't remember much. So which is why I need a CRM to help keep me on track. So basically it helps you plug all this stuff in, right?
Right.
And then it's going to help keep you on task with your tasks.
Right.
So you stay in contact with people. We got a great guest who really I thought did a great job talking about this.
Fantastic. Sure did.
Yeah, I thought he was outstanding. So John, we'll be talking with you in just a few minutes.
But again, I kidded aside saying, I hate this topic, Sheryl, but you know what? It is so necessary. It is the one way that will help you elevate your business to the next level because we all are guilty of having all those business cards on our desk for months and months, collecting spider webs and dust and all that kind of, and we're not doing it. The money is in those cards that we got to do the follow-up. You've got to have a system in place and you got to have CRM.
Yeah, absolutely. You do. You're so right. So if you've missed the other episodes, please feel free to catch up. This is episode number 21.
Wow.
I know. And counting. So we have many, many more to come. But when you're listening to what Rob's talking about here, there are a lot of components that we've addressed, right? So business cards was its own topic, a hot topic, a long topic, and certainly follow-up was another one. But you have all of these things that are happening, how you work a room, how you get this information. But at the end of the day, you've got to have a system in place to sift and sort and keep you on task. Yeah. Otherwise, you're going to waste time. I have my archaic system, but I am committing to a CRM.
Yeah.
Right. I'm going to commit. I'm a little bit of a committophobe right now.
I'm proud of you on that, Sheryl. I am proud of you and I'm going to help you get to that point because I need your help too, because I need to be held accountable because I kind of wishy-washy. I do my old archaic system. I use my CRM and I'm back and forth. So we got to work together so that we can get this thing done. So again, we can elevate our business to the next level.
Yes, that's exactly right. And what you might have caught on some of the past tech tools. So if you are going to Network Today, DFW.com, hit the subscribe button, put your email in there, and you're going to get Rob's library and our tech tools. But one of those or several of those, I actually addressed CRMs, different CRMs, because there are quite a few different CRMs. Now, there's the big one, which is Salesforce. I think that's the number one every time I at least it's the number one that comes up in the Google search. But for you, what CRM do you use?
Well, we use Pipedrive.
Okay.
And it's kind of in the top 10. It probably took us about 5 years to find Pipedrive because we went and tried to, probably I would say 5, 6, 7 different types. We put them on the free demo process. And again, they're complicated. They're hard to use. But we finally came across Pipedrive, which is kind of a simple one, has drag and drop features, has a really good library of how to use the system. Okay. So again, we've been using Pipedrive a couple of years now, and it's a good, I think, basic. It's not like a Salesforce. Okay. but again, it's simple to use and it's affordable.
Okay. Simple and affordable
Yeah.
is probably really key for many entrepreneurs such as ourselves, right?
Right.
So, and I don't like to commit to this whole like expensive big behemoth that I'm not going to use, because I'll talk about that here in a bit on why I have this aversion to CRMs. So, because if you buy it, you need to use it, right?
Yeah,
So you
yeah.
do. So, do we want to go through the benefits of CRM quickly before we
Yeah,
go into some of our other segments here?
Yeah, it's just
Okay.
real quick.
All right. So number one, and Rob's always great about these lists, and this list will be available online, so you'll be able to
Online.
see it. So this is going to allow you, number one on the list is better customer service.
Right.
And I think that's so very true. Number two, increase sales.
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah, because we're going to take you to getting to the money faster. Improved customer retention.
I want to stop you there for
Okay.
a bit, Cheryl, because again, these are pretty strong points. Because again, I can't tell you how many times I've lost people's business cards
Uh-huh.
or forgotten to call them when they pick up those and say, "Well, I'm sorry, Rob, we made a decision last week,"
Yeah.
and I've had that card for 6 months.
Yeah.
Did not follow up.
Yeah. Well, and the improved customer retention, I don't know about you, but I wake up in the middle of the night going, oh, to your point, like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. And a CRM would help to at least minimize that. It might not
Yes.
eliminate,
Right.
but at least minimize that, because
Right.
now you have a system in place that's going to trigger
Right.
some of those things. So item number 4 on the list was detailed analytics, which I haven't gotten into, obviously, because I haven't gotten into a CRM. Number 5, higher productivity and efficiency. I think that, for me, might be the number one thing for entrepreneurs, for those who are just first starting out with CRMs and trying to figure out how they take all of this networking, start to sift and sort, and then funnel it in to a money pipeline.
Yeah, I mean, I
Right.
can't tell you the hours I've wasted by going through my stacks of business cards, trying to find that one card.
The
You
one
know?
card, the one. Well,
So,
you know,
yeah.
you could get the CC app. That might help you, because you can't put a little keyword in on that big old stack. So, so to keep moving right along here. So, number 6, centralized database of information. 7, manage communications with prospective leads. 8, automate the sales reports. So, if I'm an entrepreneur, do I need an automated sales report?
Well, what I like about the automated sales report is, again, is that you can set for a time of Monday morning, 7:30. It sends you a report in your email stating that these are the people that you need to contact for this week.
Okay,
So it's all set for you.
Oh, okay. So it's not going to tell me the actual number that was closed or whatever.
Well, we
right?
can,
Or it could?
It could. I
Okay.
mean, that when you talk about the sales reports, you've probably got over 25 different reports that you can customize to what you want. Now,
Okay,
again,
okay.
we salespeople, we don't like to do all that admin stuff, so you want to restrict it to maybe your top 2 or 3 reports that are very important.
That's right.
Yeah.
You know where my head was going with that. Salespeople don't like that stuff, but
They don't like that.
That's right. But if you can get good at it, and I promise I will, let's all learn together. So more accurate sales forecasting. That's important too, because you can find
Oh.
yourself like, oh my gosh, I had 3 great months. I was so super busy. Now all of a sudden I got nothing
Right.
coming up.
I love the Salesforce because it helps you see how full your pipeline is in the next 1 or 2, 3 months down the road. So that kind of is that motivation when you see those empty slots there that you know that, hey, I need to spend a little bit more time networking, cold calling, whatever.
Okay, wonderful. Well, these are, so if you're penning that, awesome. If not, you can catch it online at networktodaydfw.com.
Yeah.
And we've got an amazing guest, as I'd mentioned, John Beaty with Insperity, and he did an awesome job talking about CRMs. We're going to get to him after we talk about our Grand Slams, which is our big win of the week, right? So when we come back.
Are you having trouble with your VoIP phone system? Smart Office USA to the rescue. We're a local company here in DFW with real people, certified technicians, and we even come to your office to help you. Smart Office USA, representing the #1 VoIP phone system on the planet. And we are right here in DFW, ready to help you. Call us 214-272-0921 or go to www.smartofficeusa.com.
All right, You ready to talk about your Grand Slam?
I'm ready, Sheryl.
Okay, go for it.
Bring it on. You know, this is the part I love about networking is when you start building relationships with people. And today I'm going to talk about Lynn Barrett. And I've known Lynn on and off for probably 3 or 4 years now.
Great.
And of course, COVID had something to do with it, and then she really took COVID serious, and where she kind of, stepped out of the networking side, which I don't blame her.
Right.
So we reconnected probably about maybe like 9 months ago, and we've really becoming close. And she is just such a brilliant networker, cares about people, shares her resources. She's there to help you out. And again, we were at a breakfast meeting one day, and we were talking about one of her clients. And then she says, "You know what, Rob? You do a couple of areas in your marketing space that I really need to bring you in with me to my client." And I went, "Wow." I mean, like, how gracious is that?
That is the ultimate. That's when you know that your relationship has arrived to that top level of trust.
So yeah, it was just so. I mean, I was like, kind of in shock, but just so, given the opportunity to work with her,
Yeah.
number one,
Yeah.
and then getting a lead that way, it was just overwhelming. And again, so thankful for Lynn. She's just a great networker, a great friend, always helping people. Really, she epitomizes what networking is all about.
Yeah. She's lovely to boot.
Yeah.
Lovely. So, can we ever get her on the show? Is that possible?
No, I'm sorry. We've tried. You've tried. I've tried.
Okay.
And
Lynn?
Lynn.
Okay, so you ready for mine?
I'm ready. Bring it on.
It's kind of big, but I really feel like it embodies what it is that we're talking about. So we have a conference, our very first, that will be on 10/28. And it was a super lofty goal because it's an in-person, right?
Mhm.
And that means you're on the hook for stuff.
Right.
So
right.
you can't, you can't just kind of hide things. It's like, here are hard, fast costs.
Right.
You have hard, fast numbers you have to hit. But to get there, you have to have an amazing lineup of people
Wow.
to speak, right? So when we're talking about that, it's like, okay, but I think we can do it.
Mhm.
And this is why networking is so important, because here we put the goal like way high. And then we had to backfill it. It wasn't like we had all these people say, "Oh, I want to talk, and let's all do it on the 28th. No, it's like, let's find the date, the venue,
Right.
and then let's start backfilling with speakers. This is why networking is just so beautiful, because as I would approach people, so we have JC Beltran and Nicolette Barrett, right, who start out. But I just reached out to them and said, "Hey, you guys both have your respective areas of LinkedIn. Would you talk?" Yes, was their answer. They're doing a brilliant job of collaborating. Then comes Brian Flanagan and be able to introduce him to Jennifer Loading. And they're going to talk about selling through and not to. Well, how beautiful is that now they've forged a relationship? I totally see them as a roadshow.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
they're outstanding.
They're going to be a blast.
Marlon Argueta.
Oh,
So-
one of my favorite guys that I follow on LinkedIn every day.
He's just got an amazing story, and he's really personal development driven, which is just a great addition to this lineup. And then we have all of our leaders in networking panel, right? Just a whole long list: Jeff Sandine, Bill Wallace, Sabrina Turner, and I went
Linda Fisk.
Linda Fisk. I'm sorry, I went backward. I was always trying to go the other direction. And then we actually have Tony Caruso, who's doing the moderating.
Right.
And then Dean Lindsay, who I met through LinkedIn, but I knew about his book through you.
Right.
And then I reach out to him and just say, "Hey, we're just huge fans." And they all said yes. Like, so that's where I say networking, this could have been a goal that was way too lofty, right? That we were just like, "Oh my gosh, I'm sweating bullets. I don't know who I'm going to get to speak." But it was like, it just came together so beautifully because we have a rich network of givers.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
I just couldn't be more humbled. And then we've got a dozen authors, right? That are all coming out to feature their book, and volunteers. And I mean, I'm just like, so my heart is very full for all of you who have ponied up and said you want to be a part of giving into this network today. Live conference on 10/28 at TK's in Addison. And TK's is ponied up too. I mean, these are all, everybody could have been greedy, but they've all been givers. And I'm just so thankful for it.
Yeah.
So
it's going to be, I can't wait.
I know, I can't either, but truly it embodies all of networking. So that's why I had to bring it up.
That's a grand slam.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah.
You knocked it out of the ballpark.
Well, we did. Like, it's the community.
Yeah.
So that's what networking is all about. It wasn't me or my conference, you or your conference. It's our conference. And hopefully you're watching and you'll want to be at the conference. So that was my grand slam, just because it was just so beautiful. It was just like the birds were singing. The angels were like floating. It was, I know.
The stars were aligned.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So, and when we come back, we're going to talk to John Beaty from Insperity, as I mentioned, about CRMs, and he lends some powerful insight. Rob, do you know what's coming up on 10/28?
A very important date. Everybody needs to mark it on their calendar because we're talking about the first annual inaugural Network Today live conference.
Woo! Everybody come, all things networking, 5 hours, full immersion, and you're going to see the ability to buy tickets right here on the website. So we want to see you there, 10/28, 10 to 3 at TK's in Addison. Get ready. John Beaty's in the house.
Boom, boom,
That's
boom.
right. So this is going to be robust. This is going to be random. This is going to be raw, because we have John. And John has, I was looking at your profile. That's the beauty of LinkedIn, right? We can stalk people legally. And a lifetime of business development. Been in the human resource side, the human component for several years. And you can catch up with him on LinkedIn. So spell your last name for us.
Beaty, B as in boy, E-A-T-Y.
All right. And he's with Insperity. You want to catch up with him because he's got all things that Insperity does, and he's a master at it, right? He's just super great. But one of the reasons that we thought it would be great for you to talk on the topic of CRM, which is kind of a bad word for me.
Well, that's a bad word for all salespeople, Sheryl. I think this is one thing that every salesperson hates to talk about, but I am just such a firm believer that to get to that next higher level in sales, you've got to be an expert in how you use CRM. And I think John's the guy to tell us about it.
That's exactly right. And what's beautiful about what you'll bring to the table here is that you have an entrepreneurial spirit, right? So I look at it, there's a W-2 mindset, a 1099 mindset, and you have like the 1099 mindset, like the independent, but you're with a large company, right? So you don't get to do everything you want to do the way you want to do it. So we're having some conversations about the good, bad, and the ugly.
Yeah.
So when did you first start using a CRM?
Oh, early in my sales career. Now, I think say use is a very loose term because when I first got introduced to the CRM, and to your point, like, people are like, oh, CRM, I don't want to use this. Yeah, that was my case because it didn't accomplish what it was set out to be accomplished. Right? There was a reason why we had a CRM, and they had a specific function of why we're supposed to use it, but it didn't translate correctly.
Right.
And that's a big problem in that world. But I have used CRMs that have actually, I've been like, wow, this is awesome. This has actually improved my day. This has actually made me more efficient. This has actually helped me be better communicative with my customers.
Right.
I mean, that's what CRM stands for, right? Customer Relationship Management.
Yeah.
But it gets so lost in translations with a lot of companies.
Yep.
All the time. They overcomplicate it, or they put like devices on there that are useless.
No.
Oh yeah, no. So you get folks that look at it from a high level, from an up down, but very rarely do a lot of companies look from a down up perspective, right? The people who are going to use it every single day.
Yeah.
Well, Sheryl, you were telling me that you were debating whether to use the CRM or not. What are the kind of pros and cons of that reason? Because I like to explore that and kind of talk about it.
It's a good point. Well, the reason I feel I'm like hesitant, I flirt with it, but I don't want to get married to one, is because it's a commitment. Like for me, the C stands for commitment. And this is where I'm a committophobe, right? Because once you invest, I mean, it's hours. You're taking all of your data, all of your spreadsheet, any of the other CRM or component, the tools, right? And now you're uploading, you're cleaning up. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And then if I hate it, then I'm stuck, right? So that for me is, and then there's so many new CRM tools. And so I'm like, if I commit to them, then I can't date them, right? So that's kind of
fair enough. I mean, you can get both subscriptions, right? You have two CRMs working against each other. But there's a lot of free, for those who are like wondering, oh, this is a big cost for my company. There's a lot of free CRMs out there. Number one, like HubSpot's free, or you can even get like a small licensing from like Salesforce Lightning for like $350 for your team. I had an individual license for a while that was like $35 a month. So it's nothing. But the advantages of actually getting it and actually using it is probably more than having to go through there and start. And it's probably a good idea to clean house anyways, right?
Yeah.
And with this, when you have the CRM up and running, it's a lot easier to clean house. So are you using like spreadsheets right now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there it is. So there's no automation in that process. And that's where the CRM comes from. Sending out automatic emails to your customers saying, hey, thank you for your business, or just sending out the information from your company, to having campaigns, keeping track of all your customers, moving them along the sales process. Because if you don't know your pipeline, it's really hard for you to understand, and forecast your business. And if you really want to keep control of how your business is growing and wanting to understand how much money is coming in, and that way you can buy new products or invest in your own company. Because if you don't know, hey, is this deal going to close or not? Can I invest in this new opportunity for my business? So there's a big piece of that. And then from a user perspective, it can make the day so much easier.
Or harder.
Well, it can. And in some cases, some companies will go, all right, we want to include this, and this. And as a salesperson, you're looking at it with a deer in the headlights looking, going, there's like 4,000 forms you got to fill out. And now it's just a burden. But if you simplify it to make it where you're just going in there, you're entering your customers' information, you see where they're in the pipeline, you know who to follow up with. I don't know about most salespeople, but I'm making hundreds of calls a week. I'm making hundreds of emails a week. And the ability for these CRMs to pull that email out, or even dial in the CRM to keep track of your calls, to put notes in there. I don't know about you, but I sleep one day and I forget everything that happened the day before. So going into the system and then going, oh, wow, I had this conversation. And then, oh, he said he wanted to talk to you in a month, and you could automate that part. It's just huge in building your pipeline, moving the business forward.
I think it's a great point, John, because I think, because I have just till recently started using a CRM, I think of all the missed opportunities I've had in my career. I'd probably be retired on a sailboat in the Bahamas right now. So that's why I encourage everyone to get on track to get their CRM going. Because again, and I, like you said, also simplify it. And basically, I kind of do just tracking my prospects. So once I get a card on them, it goes into my CRM, and I know there might be I don't need to get back with them for 3-6 months, but it's there. Because it's 6 months, if I fast forward 6 months, I forgot about that guy I met at the networking group. But then when I scan through my CRM, I go, oh yeah, Bob, I need to call Bob. And I can't tell you how many deals I've lost because I call them back too late.
Do you find that there's some automation in there that helps out? Or have you gotten to that point where you're going, what are the automatic functions my CRM can do for me?
There's a lot of good automation there. I haven't got there. I'm just doing baby steps right now of just putting them in and moving them through the pipeline.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's a good start. That's
Well, what I want to have happen, I guess this is what I'm waiting for. I'm waiting for the big kahuna. So we were talking about at a networking event how crazy it is that LinkedIn doesn't, like you connect on LinkedIn or you scan through Camcard, that there's not some daily task that moves into a CRM so that the next day those people are populated into a CRM to, you see what I'm saying?
Oh, okay. Let's talk about that.
Because wouldn't that be great?
There actually is.
Oh, there is? What?
Yes.
What?
So I use Salesforce Lightning.
Okay.
And there is a plugin tool from Salesforce Lightning that will pull contacts out of LinkedIn and move them into your CRM.
Oh, well, see, there we go. This is why we're having a conversation with Don.
Yeah, and a lot of these CRMs, the great thing about it, and they're much more now than just like, hey, it's a pipeline and then there's your sales piece and all that. It's now there's a full operational piece in the background, and the amount of plugins and tools are crazy. The Salesforce I use comes with Zoom. I have Zoom Info attached to it, Sales Navigator. I have Insight in there. There's a bunch of tools I have attached to it. So I could be on anybody's page, click on it, it opens up, I can find their contact information and immediately populate into my
So
my
there's
CRM.
the answer. This is what I've been waiting for, which is why we're having this discussion. So before we wrap, because truly there is so much more. We need to have like a whole online chat about this.
We're just touching the surface on this.
That's exactly, just like a little scratch. Believing that the primary viewer listener here at Network Today is an entrepreneur at heart. Even if they're employed by somebody, right? They're an entrepreneur by heart. They're trying to build their own brand or business. What is the best CRM for somebody like that who's an independent entrepreneur?
If you're just getting into CRMs, I think a really easy one is like HubSpot.
Okay.
Salesforce gets a little bit convoluted and it takes a lot to learn, but like a HubSpot is really good. They have like 4 different levels. Mm-hmm. So their basic level is just your customer base prospect list. Like you can organize all that in the system. It has the ability to send and receive emails within the system. It has a reporting feature. By the way, that's a big part about CRMs, reporting. You got to know where everything is. But yeah, I think that's a good place to start.
Okay. The free HubSpot. I did the paid HubSpot, and I'm like, I just paid for a whole year, and all I did was email tracking, which I couldn't. So that was a $720, out the door. I was like, I'm just so mad at myself. So that's why I'm like, I'm just holding back. I'm holding back for the best information, for the best system. So this has been good. This has been really helpful to me. You, Rob?
Absolutely, right on.
Okay, all right. So John, you're going to come back, and we're going to dive into this a little deeper, right?
Sure, absolutely. I appreciate you guys having me on.
All right. So before you dismiss, you know what I'm going to ask you, right? A little known fact about yourself that would surprise us. That's G-rated. So.
Oh no, yeah, absolutely. So in the mid '50s, my grandfather was the head of the military in Honduras. Him and the other person in charge of the other part of the military ran a coup in the government, and my grandfather was president for about 6 to 8 months of Honduras.
Oh my gosh.
That is fascinating.
That is awesome.
All right.
Wow.
Autograph, please. So, that is super cool. Yeah. Well, we want you to connect with John. So is LinkedIn the best?
Yeah, LinkedIn works great.
All right. And be sure that you tap into his CRM prowess. And we want to hear from you too. info@networktoday.dfw.com, because I want to hear what other people have to say about this discussion and the CRM they're using.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, all right. Thank you, John. We'll have you back soon.
Appreciate it.
Bam. John gave me so many great pearls that I had no idea exist. Salesforce Lightning, right? I should investigate a little harder. But why should I when John can bring all the wealth of knowledge to the table?
Well, what I really enjoyed about John too, being the professional and highly respect him, is the fact that he dedicates himself in doing and using CRM on a daily basis. And that's something I wish I had done in my career.
You do? Do you think that would have been a difference maker?
I really do. I am a strong supporter now, Sheryl. I mean, you've got to have a CRM that you operate. You've got there's too much information. You go to these networking, you walk away with 20 cards. You multiply that by 5-6 events a month. You're collecting 500 cards a month. How do you track that?
Well, and compound that with clients, right? We're still trying to take care of business and take care of clients. So,
and that's a great point, because you have automation that John stressed, the automation tools, that part of the CRM. Again, that we've got to keep care of our customers, because we can get so much more business from them, so that someone won't steal them away from you. So
that's right. So thank you, John, that we connected via networking.
Yeah,
a couple of years ago, right? We just appreciate you, appreciate everything you bring to the table. I want this CRM discussion to continue, but I want it to be elevated. I really, really want to talk more about this, because for entrepreneurs, especially for networkers, we can become so much more efficient.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so let's do it. Let's face it, employees waste time on the company dime. Why? Life's complicated. We help keep the junk of life out of the workplace and in the hands of the experts. Empowered Advantage, empowering employees, giving businesses the advantage. Letter M as in magnificent, poweredadvantage.com. So John is just bigger than life, isn't he?
Oh, I love John. He is so, he's out there in the networking world. I see him at least 2 events a month. And again, he is one of the guys that, he's a professional salesperson.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I really, what he brings to the table for me is not just his networking aspect, but he's a professional salesperson. So much to learn from him.
Yes. Well, and the thing about being a professional salesperson is you could just be in the bowl of soup, right? Or you can be the meatball, right? Right. So he's kind of like the meatball in the bowl of soup, because there's so many salespeople who I think they just demean themselves because of the position of being a salesperson. Like I'm just a sales, you know what I mean?
Right.
But he owns it. And with that, he's just consistently there supporting. And I just appreciate that. And he's in a very crowded industry where, again, he could feel like, oh, I'm just one of many and just kind of give up. He does not have that. I never see that on him, on his countenance. Right. Never. So.
No, absolutely. I mean, John, again, it's one of those things, too, where you surround yourself with the right people. And John is one of those people that's kind of, in the inner circle.
Right. Right. Absolutely. So thank you. Thank you, John. Appreciate you. So let's go through kind of a bit of a recap on why you need a CRM.
Okay.
All right. And how this is going to help us, and then our action items, right? So I want to make sure we're really clear on this, because CRM, it's not just like hey, well, that's a nice tool that I may implement at some point. We have to have some CRM.
This is a must tool. This is right. Exactly. It's not something that you just kind of play around with or think about. The only thing you need to think about is which one you want to pick, and that when you're going to start performing and doing it as a daily task. Again, you can't overemphasize that enough.
Yeah.
Is that I can tell you that I've lost thousands and thousands of dollars because in my younger career, I did not use CRM.
Yeah. Fail to plan and you plan to fail. I think we've all heard that. So, and I'm going to give my word of the week, because I think this is all about CRMs, and that's measurable or measurability, right? So if you can't, what's that phrase? What can't be measured can't be managed.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. So you have to be able to measure things that will make you successful as an entrepreneur. If you're just hoping it all comes together and that spontaneous combustion happens.
This is the thing where you can make that decision yourself, and then you can impact your own personal sales by holding yourself accountable through CRM.
Yep.
Because a lot of us work solo. We don't have a boss, but CRM can be your boss.
That's right. That's a great point.
And it holds you accountable. And that's if you want to play at the high level of being a professional salesperson, where you want to be successful, earn more money, you've got to do the right thing.
Yep, that's right. So why we want to do it, we want to manage our contacts and customer relations, improve the sales process, capture and nurture. That was a good word that you put in there. That was a really good word. And convert leads. So because you want to move it into the money mode, right? And then also too, it helps you move the no's to a different category, right? Because so many times we all hang on to those maybes too long. But I think that a CRM system helps you to, hey, it's going to be a yes or a no at some point. I need to move the no away.
Right. For me, where it works the most valuable, I think, for me, Sheryl, is when a prospect says to you, I've got to put the project on hold. Call me back in 6 months, 9 months from now.
There you go. Yeah.
You know how many deals I've lost because of that right there? And again, that's the whole point of CRM, that it's going to catalog it for you. It's going to send you an alert 3 or 4 months ahead of time so that you can get back into the game.
Now, and I put everything on my Gmail calendar. So that's how I do it. I use all my tasks. It pings me. Everything's kind of, but I've come to the point where it's just not enough.
Yeah.
Right. It's becoming too tedious. And if you do want to move to the next level, then a CRM is here to do it. So do we want to talk about the action items?
Yep.
Okay.
My first one, I like it. It says, do it now. Guys, don't think about it, whatever. Get Google right now. What CRM should I pick? Do it now. Do it today. You'll get those results.
Yeah, it's not going to happen if you don't begin. So as you're watching this, just begin that search, and you can go into the tech tools and be able to see some of the ones that I've highlighted, because there are quite a few. And I really want to hear which ones you've used.
Absolutely.
Your experience, because maybe that will help me pick mine. That's why I don't want to commit. I committed to HubSpot.
Right.
And I paid to commit to HubSpot, but I didn't commit to learning. It was just so much. And I'm like, oh my gosh, it looks like it's a 10-hour learning course on the weekend. I don't have 10 hours. It probably wasn't that, right? I made that up in my mind. But either way, that's why it just felt like a waste of money.
Right.
And then I just moved back to my old stuff. But I want to get better. I need to get better, and I need to get bigger. And I can only do that if I have some systems in place. So, and I like number 2, because do it every day. like getting out of bed.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, it's just like anything else. Your exercise program. You got to do it every day to get better.
Yeah. And like your exercise program comes number 3, which is
stick to it.
That's right.
Oh my gosh. How many times do we start something, try it for 30 days, and we give up? Guys, this is hard. I'm going to tell you that right up front. But this is one of the most successful tools. I think it is the most successful tool to help raise your game to the next level.
Yeah. Yeah. To get you on track, keep you on track. But sticking to it, what is that? Is it, everybody has a different answer for this, but if your body does something for 60 or 90 days, somebody told me, I think it's one time, whatever it is, right? So longer than a day, longer than a month. But if your body actually sticks to it 60 to 90 days, then your cellular structure actually begins to adopt to that, which is why people get addicted to working out, right? Once you can get past that hump.
Yeah.
So stick to it and get to at least the 60-day mark, and then we want to hear from you.
Yes, absolutely.
Has it become a part of your belly, right? And we want to know how you're quantifying things. We want to hear the success stories. Why don't we ask for grand slams?
I know it. We need to do that.
Yeah, give us your own grand slam.
Absolutely.
Hey, I was doing a CRM. I implemented it for this amount of time, and this is what happened. This is the outcome of that.
Yeah.
So that would be great. We'd love to hear that. So info@networktodaydfw.com. That's where you can put that in there. All right. So coming up next. Coming up next,
what are we doing next?
What are we doing next? Next week.
Oh, next week? We've got, who do we got next week, Sheryl? I didn't look at the log.
We have next week. It's a subject that I did not want to talk about. But that's.
You're not talking about the JV.
That one.
Are you talking about the JV?
Like, oh my gosh, shoot me. What is this all about? So
I love talking about this one.
I do. We're going to talk about it next week. And I have committed to grow through CRM. I will commit to grow through this next topic next week.
You need to be there. We're going to talk about JV. And if you don't know what that stands for, then you've got to tune in next week, because this, again, is a great lead generating tool, method, strategy to help boost your business.
Yes, it will leverage you for sure.
Yeah.
Right? It will leverage you. So we thank you. And again, we're here with Network Today to take you from meeting people to
making money.
Well, I think I made money just by hearing about CRMs from John. So thank you, John.
Have a good week out there.
That's right.
This has been a Purple Cow production.